Emma Carter shifted the weight of 2 paper grocery bags in her arms. The bottoms were slightly damp from melting snow. She had double-checked them twice, afraid they might tear. Beside her stood Noah, bundled in a navy jacket 2 sizes too big, donated from a church winter drive. He held her sleeve tightly, his small fingers cold even through gloves. "Mom," he asked quietly, "are we walking home?" Emma forced a smile. "No, sweetheart. I ordered an Uber." She hated spending the extra money. Every dollar mattered. But the bus route had changed again, and the walk from the nearest stop to their apartment was nearly 20 minutes. In this wind, Noah would start coughing again. Her phone buzzed. Uber driver arriving, Daniel, black SUV, 2 minutes. Emma glanced at the street. A sleek black SUV turned the corner, its headlights cutting through the cold air. "That's ours," she said. When the vehicle stopped, the driver stepped out immediately. He didn't look like most rideshare drivers she'd met. His coat was tailored but simple. His shoes polished but not flashy. There was a quiet steadiness about him, not rushed, not distracted. "Emma," he asked gently. "Yes," she said, slightly embarrassed. "I'm sorry about the groceries." "It's perfectly fine," he replied, opening the trunk before she could protest. Most drivers stayed seated. Most avoided eye contact. This one didn't. Noah climbed into the back seat carefully. Emma followed, clutching her purse tightly on her lap, an old habit. "Be alert. Be cautious. The world isn't always kind." The SUV pulled smoothly into traffic. Warm air filled the car. Emma exhaled without realizing how tense she'd been. "Cold one tonight," the driver said. "Chicago doesn't do gentle winters," she replied with a tired smile. He chuckled softly. In the rearview mirror, Daniel Harrington studied her reflection, not with judgment, but with attention. Daniel wasn't supposed to be here. He was supposed to be reviewing quarterly earnings in his high-rise office overlooking the Chicago River. As CEO of Harrington Global Tech, his schedule was normally packed: investor meetings, strategy calls, interviews. But 3 months ago, after attending a leadership summit in New York City, something had shifted in him. A retired executive had said, "The moment you stop living like the people you serve, you stop understanding them." That sentence had followed him home. And so, quietly, without telling his board assistant, Daniel built a habit. Once a week, he drove Uber under a shortened version of his name. Not for money, for perspective. Back in the SUV, Noah leaned forward slightly. "Sir, is this your car?" Daniel smiled. "Yes, it is. It's really cool. Thank you." Emma nudged Noah gently. "Don't bother him." "It's not a bother," Daniel said. "I like questions." Noah grinned, then sat back. Emma stared out the window at passing streetlights. "I used to have a car," she said unexpectedly. Daniel glanced at her through the mirror. "Used to. Transmission died. The mechanic said it wasn't worth fixing." She shrugged. "Sometimes you just have to accept things." Accept things. Daniel had spent his life fighting things. Negotiating, competing, winning. He wondered what it felt like to accept loss as routine. "What do you do?" he asked carefully. "Morning shift at a diner. Evenings cleaning offices downtown." "That's a long day. You get used to it." There it was again. Habit. Daniel noticed how often she used that phrase. As if endurance itself were a muscle she exercised daily. Traffic slowed near a red light. Snow flurries began drifting lazily under the street lamps. In the back seat, Noah spoke again. "My mom says habits decide your future." Emma laughed softly. "I talk too much." "No," Noah insisted. "You say if we wake up early every day and don't quit, we won't stay poor forever." The words landed heavier than the snow. Daniel felt something tighten in his chest. He thought about his own habits: early mornings at private gyms, espresso meetings, scanning financial reports over breakfast prepared by a chef. Habits of success. But Emma's habits were about survival. And survival required more courage. They drove past the shining glass towers near the river, then farther south where buildings grew shorter, older. "Almost there," Emma said quietly. The SUV turned onto a narrow street lined with aging brick apartments. One streetlight flickered like it was considering giving up. Daniel parked carefully. Before Emma could reach for the door handle, he stepped out. "It's okay," she said quickly. "You're done, you have to carry those." "I know," he replied, lifting the grocery bags anyway. Inside the building, the hallway smelled faintly of cleaning solution and something fried. The carpet was one thing in the center from years of footsteps. Emma felt a flicker of embarrassment. She wasn't ashamed of her life, but she was tired of explaining it. At her apartment door, she reached for the keys. "Thank you," she said softly. "Most drivers don't, get out." Danielle smiled slightly. Maybe I'm trying to build better habits. She studied him for a second. You're different, she said. Calmer. He hesitated. I'm learning, he answered. The door opened. Warm light spilled into the hallway. Noah waved. Bye, sir. Good night, Noah. Emma paused before stepping inside. For what it's worth, she said, whatever you're building, keep building it. Daniel nodded. As he walked back to the SUV, the cold air felt sharper. He sat behind the wheel but didn't start the engine immediately. Instead, he looked up at the apartment windows. One by one, lights turned on across the building, small squares of life in the darkness. His phone buzzed with an email notification from his CFO. He ignored it. For the first time since starting this weekly experiment, he didn't feel like he was observing from above. He felt connected. Emma's words echoed in his mind. Habits decide your future. Daniel had built habits to grow wealth. Emma had built habits to protect hope. And somehow, standing between snowflakes and city noise, he realized something simple but powerful. The strongest habits aren't the ones that build empire. They're the ones that refuse to let you give up. He started the engine slowly. As the SUV pulled away from the curb, Daniel made a quiet decision. Next week, he would drive again. But this time, he wouldn't just observe. He would listen more closely. Because sometimes, the most important lessons in leadership aren't taught in boardrooms overlooking the Chicago skyline. They learned in the back seat of a car, from a mother who refuses to let hardship become her son's inheritance. She hadn't connected the name at first. Daniel, the Uber driver. It couldn't be the same person. Right. Her reflection stared back at her from the polished walls. She wore her only blazer, thrifted, slightly loose at the shoulders. Her shoes were polished twice that morning. Noah had hugged her before school. Mom, maybe this is your habit paying you back, he had said proudly. Now her heart pounded so loudly she could barely hear the receptionist. MS. Carter, the executive team is ready for you. Executive team. Emma swallowed hard. She followed the assistant into a long hallway lined with framed magazine covers. And there he was, on the wall, smiling confidently beside bold letters. Daniel Harrington, visionary CEO reshaping American technology. Her breath stopped. The door had opened. Inside sat 12 executives around a sleek glass table. And at the head of it, the Uber driver. Only now he wore a tailored navy suit. The quiet calm was still there. But now it carried authority. Daniel stood as she entered. Good morning, Emma. The room went silent. Her voice barely worked. You, yes, he said gently. It's me. Heat rushed to her face. Oh my God, I am so sorry if I said anything. You said exactly what I needed to hear. The executives exchanged confused glances. Daniel motioned for her to sit. She didn't trust her legs. When she finally lowered herself into the chair, her hands trembled slightly. He spoke first. 2 weeks ago, I drove you home. Mummies spread across the table. I drive once a week, Daniel continued calmly. To stay grounded. To remember why leadership matters. One executive blinked. You, what? Daniel ignored the interruption. I met a mother who works 2 jobs. Who teaches her son that discipline shapes destiny. Who apologizes for groceries like she's inconveniencing the world. Emma's eyes filled with tears. He looked at her directly. You weren't complaining. You weren't asking for help. You were simply enduring. The room grew heavy with emotion. Emma whispered, I didn't know who you were. That's why it mattered, he replied. He walked slowly around the table. Our company talks about resilience in meetings every day. But resilience doesn't live in PowerPoint slides. He stopped beside her. It lives in people like Emma. Silence. The HR director slid a folder across the table toward Emma. She stared at it but didn't open it. Daniel nodded encouragingly. With shaking hands, she lifted the cover. Her breath caught. Full-time corporate operations coordinator. Salary, $92 or suffer cent. Full benefits. Education stipend. Childcare assistance. Her vision blurred. This can't be right, she whispered. It is, Daniel said softly. But I've never worked in corporate. You manage 2 jobs and a child alone. You manage time better than most executives here. A few nervous laughs broke the tension. Emma wiped her tears. Why me? She asked again. Daniel paused, not as a CEO, but as a man reflecting. Because habits reveal character, he said. And character is more valuable than experience. He leaned slightly closer, lowering his voice so only she could hear. You said you're used to things not going your way. She nodded slowly. I want you to build a new habit. Her heart pounded. Expect them to. Tears fell freely now. In that moment, Emma wasn't thinking about salary numbers. She was thinking about Noah, about winter coats that fit, about not calculating groceries down to the last dollar, about breathing without fear. The executives watched as something powerful unfolded, not a business deal, but a transformation. Emma straightened her shoulders. For years, her habit had been survival. Today, she chose belief. She picked up the pen. Her signature was slightly uneven, but determined. As she finished signing, the room erupted into applause. Not polite applause, real applause. Daniel extended his hand. She hesitated, then shook it firmly. "Welcome to Harrington Global Tech," he said. 3 months later, the Chicago skyline shimmered outside Emma's office window. Her desk overlooked the river. A framed photo of Noah sat beside her computer. He had visited once, eyes wide. "Mom, is this where the Uber driver works?" She had laughed through tears. "Yes, but he's more than that." Across the building, Daniel stood in his office reviewing quarterly growth reports. Profits were up, expansion plans were moving forward. But that wasn't what made him smile. On his calendar for that evening, Uber, शाम के 7 बजे. Because wealth had been built from ambition. But wisdom had been built from habit. And somewhere in Chicago, another ordinary person was about to step into his car, not knowing their life might shift direction.